I'm Steve White. We've heard for much of the football season about the NFL Players Coalition and what they're trying to do. So we're going to talk about what's next. And I'm joined by Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Torrey Smith, safety Malcolm Jenkins, and police officer Rob Williams from the Northern Illinois University Police Department, who's also been trained in the right techniques, kind of a de-escalation technique. So we're going to get to some of these things. But, guys, let's talk about the Players Coalition. I guess the big thing from here. Malcolm, what's next? What's kind of the immediate step and prioritization of what you guys are trying to do?
There's a lot from a legislative standpoint that we feel like we can have an effect on as a coalition. A lot of that has to do with criminal justice reform, so our cash bail system, trying to get rid of that, the way we handle reentry, knowing that 1 in 3 Americans that are over the age of 18 have some kind of record, whether it be arrest record or criminal record, and how that affects people in whole communities. And we can attack that on a legislative standpoint, into mass incarceration, the war on drugs, all of these things that have piled up on low-income communities, communities of color for decades. We have a chance to start to highlight and move past.
There's a lot of folks who are not that engaged in the community in terms of wanting to maybe get out and vote or feeling that they have a voice. Is that part of what the Players Coalition is trying to do, saying you can do this and here's how?
Absolutely. I think, as us, we're just another tool. There are people who've been fighting this fight long before we even existed. And it's important to let people know that as much as we have a voice and a platform, we're there to help educate them as we're educating ourselves. Because, like I said, this isn't our fight alone. It's everyone together. And if everyone learns to embrace that, that's how I think we'll get the progress that we want to see, and along with the accountability and simply just being more transparent with the process. So understanding what's going on, educating yourself, eventually I think if you understand the process, then you'll see the transparency in it.
We talk about here about judicial reform, law enforcement, de-escalation techniques. These are things that you're part of a training program, the right training program, that teaches de-escalation techniques. And in Florida, where this took place, the use of force by police is reduced by 40%, and the use of violence involved in crimes has reduced 60%. Correct. But these right techniques are only being used in 2% based on statistics in police departments around the country. I mean, what is it that these guys can do and what law enforcement can do to continue to teach de-escalation techniques so you can see this continued reduction in use of force and things like this by police officers?
One thing that they already done it. We got the conversation started right here, so we can actually get out to the police departments and let them know that these type of techniques do work. We see they work in Florida. We would like them to be implemented everywhere, but one thing that the right instruction does, it allows the officer to look at themselves first. A lot of times that's hard. That's hard to look at yourself and say, okay, am I in the right place emotionally to deal with what the situation I'm going through? The right training also after that, after I realize where I'm at emotionally, I can look at, okay, how can I empathize with the community, and go from there. And once I am able to see where I'm at emotionally, empathize with the community, then I can handle the situation a little better. I think that's one of the reasons why the de-escalation techniques and the percentages are down, because one of the things that that we have in our bag talks about stop, think, and go. All right. Each situation that we deal with, 99% of the situations that cops deal with, you're able to stop. Okay, where am I at emotionally? Think, how can I actually deal with this situation? Then go, then actually handle it. All right. 1% of the situation we have to run in and do what we have to do, but 99% of the time we can do that. And also, a lot of times when we see these videos of officers that are going out of control, maybe cursing or upset or yelling, it has nothing to do with the situation. It has nothing to do with the person that ran that stoplight. It has nothing to do with, okay, trying to get someone to stop and talk to them. It's something else that they may be dealing with emotionally. And that's one thing that the right training does. It has you first look at yourself as an officer emotionally so you can deal with the situation, because we can't help the community first before we help the officer. We have to, the three-pronged approach is help the officer, help the department, and then we can help the community.
All right, well done, guys. Thank you so much. And be sure to tune into NFL Network Friday at 8 Eastern on NFL 360. We'll be listening together.